Hey everybody! Hey, welcome to the fourth edition of Talking Outlander. We're talking about the fourth episode, which is kind of hard to believe that we're actually at the fourth episode already. It seems like it just started, and at the same time it seems it's been going on for a long time. So these weeks are moving really quickly, and we're here now. The episode that we just saw is called The Gathering. It was a big deal. There's all kinds of cameos, stuff going on. So we only have 4 more episodes until the mid-season finale. So I hope you guys are watching with us and you want to, chat with us and tell us what's going on. We have a special guest this week, a friend of ours, and is coming in, and she's an Outlander fan, so don't worry about it. We don't have anybody on the panel this week who doesn't already like Outlander. So we're just going to be so positive this week. That's all that's going to be happening. Tons of positivity. I am having a mimosa because it's Sunday afternoon, and I just got home from church, and I just got done getting a courtesy ticket and not a real one. So, yes, I celebrate.
And you're going to need a second one of those.
Exactly. Who's next?
We'll go because we've got the Siamese twins over here in sweaty Philadelphia. It is a nice balmy, maybe 90-plus degrees in Philadelphia today, which is why we're looking as lovely as we are. And Jamie decided to drive down to Philadelphia from her home in not Philadelphia, and we went to brunch. We've had a few cocktails. We're going to be honest. We've had a few cocktails. Yeah. So I'm Becca. This is Jamie. And our tagline is, we have some grief-induced field hockey moments coming this week. Lots of feels.
Oh, gosh. I guess I'll go next. I don't know how I'm going to top either one of those. But in any case, hi, guys. I'm Laura, and it is a steamy, 90-something up here in North New Jersey, right outside of New York City. So, yeah, I'm hot, I'm sweltering, and I have another angry orchard because, why not? And my tagline for the day is supplying Jamie's hockey sticks, because clearly it's a rough job, but somebody has to do it, and that would be me.
That would leave me. I'm Ellie, and I'm from Kansas City, and it's also very hot here. Love Outlander, and I'm really excited to discuss this with you guys. And I'm still recovering from my rum and cokes last night, so I've got water.
Oh, man.
I know.
I forgot to tell you guys my tagline. My tagline today is "My body is ready."
Please explain that. What do you mean?
I don't want to explain it. Why do I have to explain it?
We all understand.
Jamie's, his thing is just so pretty, and my body's ready.
And for those francophiles listening, that would be Mon creux est prêt en français.
Ooh.
What?
Fancy French lady over here on my bed. Oh, Jamie wanted to point out, you may recognize this bed from... Why? Tell us.
This would be the Happy Birthday Sam bed that you may have seen in previous videos. Just missing a little Beth over here. But you may recognize me from making comments off screen and then Beth yelling at me.
If you don't know what we're talking about, Beth and I made a very special Happy Birthday Sam video on this very bed, and we will make sure to link it in the comments today, as well as maybe directly on this video.
I'm pretty sure that Sam recognized me, at least. He didn't see from that video, because he was like...
Yes. Do I run now? Do I run back to Scotland now?
Oh, that video is such a labor of love. We really worked hard for that.
We did. I'm pretty sure we were drunk. Actually, we weren't. We were pretending to be drunk.
Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors.
But we actually are drinking right
Oh, yeah. No, we're drunk. This is not fake.
Yeah. We should do the birthday video now. That would be even better. All right, we're diving in. We have we haven't done our one sentence. We do a one sentence every week where we just kind of encapsulate the episode, whatever impressed us the most or whatever. And so our one sentence this week, mine is, I'm sort of disappointed that Dugall doesn't hold with rape.
Wait, what?
I'm sort of disappointed that Dugall doesn't hold with rape. You don't get my sentence?
I get it.
Hold
in the very first episode, he says, I don't hold with rape. Like, he tells them because they're, going to rape Claire, and he's like, no, we don't do that.
Yep.
And in this one, he's really kind of hot and sexy and sensual, and I was disappointed that he just didn't.
Yep. It was definitely a case of do as I say, not as I do.
Or there's the implied except when I'm drunk.
Right.
Right.
I didn't want him to. Yeah, no, he was like hot and sexy. That, yeah, dang. Hello. I was gonna tweet him, and then I just, I was drinking.
Yeah.
I was gonna do it, then I was drunk.
Jamie, do you have a one-liner?
I channel aggression through contact sports.
That's great.
I'm going to pretend not to get it.
Shut up. I didn't get it. I have also had 3 cocktails and it's 2 p.m. Mine is, I really can't wait for some more sex scenes.
Yeah.
Mine is The Gathering. Eat, drink, and testosterone rushes abound.
Yeah, they do.
And then mine would be, this is the first time I didn't miss Frank.
Oh.
Huh.
Wow.
This is
Frank
the
was
first time I was really feeling the Jamie thing over the Frank thing. I kind of fell in love with Frank in the first few episodes.
As we all did.
And he didn't make an appearance this episode, so it was a good thing you didn't miss him, because he was...
That's true. That's true. He wasn't there.
I mean, they had very short flashes to Frank. Let's talk about that real quick because it leads into one of the first things we wanted to talk about, which was Claire's theme, her music theme, which is this strange 40s thing going on, all of this 40s music, but in really strange moments. It never feels like it fits right. So what do you guys think about it?
I half expected her to, like, look around for where the music was coming from. It was kind of almost like in a spoof movie where all of a sudden someone, like, the music playing and it's part of the background, but all of a sudden somebody is, like, changing records or whatever. Like, it just seemed really so out of place. And I wasn't sure if that's like, hey, I'm thinking about Frank and I'm thinking about my life in the past, so that's why they put it there, and that's what I interpreted it as. But it did feel really out of place. It kind of felt like A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger.
Which is the best movie ever.
Sure. It had the modern music, but it was taking place in the Middle Ages, and it just, like, was very clashing themes, and I just...
Yeah, I actually, because we watch a lot of these episodes early on screeners, so sometimes the music hasn't been in there, hasn't been finished. So when I first saw the episode, I was like, yeah, whatever, it's just music, it's going to change. And then when I watched it live last night, I thought, oh my gosh, no, that's 40s music in a random Scottish scene, and it didn't fit for me. I get what they're doing. I'm married to a music composer. It's like her thing. Like, I get that's her, like, music, but it didn't fit. It's Scotland. We're hearing Scottish bagpipes in one scene, and then this in another. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I actually thought they were going to, like, segue into a scene with Frank. Like, I thought, like, in a second they were going to go, like, from that and then into a flashback. Like, whatever she was remembering, it was going to remind her something about Frank. So I really kind of was like, oh, wait, we're not going to Frank. So I don't know. I wonder if they'll ever change the music and make it, like, a little more, like, as she gets more comfortable in Scotland, if they'll put in some Scotland music. I don't know.
Question.
Yeah.
Is that the first time? I know that we've had 40s music before, but it's been in 40s scenes. But I just never noticed that they've done 40s music in Highlander scenes before.
They've done it before. They've been doing it. It hasn't been quite as loud. I mean, not loud is not the right word, but it hasn't been quite so obvious in the other scenes. But they have been doing it before. I'm trying to think of specific ones, and I get why they're doing it. I get the idea that if you were out of time or whatever, the music of whatever's in your head would still be in your head, and you might be walking around, humming whatever, and it would be out of place. But so I get it. It's just, it's disconcerting. It's just not right for some reason. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pause.
Awkward pause where Beth tries to come up with the next question that we're going to talk about. Yay!
I'd like to put, since we're talking about Claire, I'd just like to take a brief moment to just talk about, I just love Katrina so much, and yeah. I think she was just fantastic in the episode, and she has such a pretty face. I could look at her all the time. But I think she does such a fantastic job that it makes me a little upset about the voiceovers, because I think her expressions and the way that she's acting it's obvious what she's doing in scenes, and then the voiceover comes. I'm like, no, I already got that. Like, it's clear what's going on here, and I think they're almost taking away from the great acting job that she's doing.
Yeah, and I think last episode we didn't really talk about the voiceover much because it kind of felt, I was like, oh, maybe they're lessening it a bit. But this one, it felt back in full force, and I don't know that it's necessary. I think they need to trust the audience that we're smart enough, not just us book readers who really do know what's going on, but even, I watched it with my husband. He didn't have very many questions. I mean, he didn't need the voiceover to tell him that Claire was walking around trying to plan her escape. It was kind of obvious.
Yeah, like the point at which, I think it's a really good point, like the point at which the kid talks about, oh, Mistress Claire, you lost your hair ribbons again, and then we see it tied to the tree, that she deliberately tied it, and there's a path back. Like, I think you're right. I think we kind of would have figured that out, or enough of people would have figured it out that, I don't think it would have been horrible if that was dropped or not dropped. But I agree, Katrina's performance is awesome. And I think especially now that Claire is getting more comfortable in the 1800s, I don't think she's as stiff. I mean, I think she was deliberately stiff earlier because she was such a fish out of water. But I feel like she's a lot more open and expressive now, a couple episodes in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that she's absolutely doing she's doing a better job now than she was, which that might just be because now she's had 3 episodes on her back or whatever, and she's getting better at it. But I think that the voiceovers they're just so jarring. Like when she's going back and forth between the courtyard, and she's like 15 paces to the well and 10 to the da-da-da. I'm like, why can't we just watch her do that? Why do we need like all this specific instruction? It's getting even at the very end when she says, I decided, I'm gonna have to resign myself to coming up with another time that I get to escape. Yeah, no shit, Claire. Like, of course you have to resign yourself to another time when you have to escape. This is not new news. We don't need you to tell us that. Like, and it's just enough already. Like, we get it. Yeah, I'm done with it. But I did absolutely feel in this episode like her determination to leave. Like, for some reason, I don't know what it was, but like I never felt like she's like really kind of pulled between two places. I really felt that she was like pushing and making a determination to go. So right. Katrina's doing amazing. My favorite Katrina scene in this episode is the one with Angus in the gathering.
Oh, where she Mickey Fins him with the cocktail?
Yes. Yeah. It was so
okay.
You mean the bearded midget?
We discussed this at brunch over a couple of cocktails. Jamie just kept saying the bearded midget, and I was like, I don't remember which one that is. And this will go back to a conversation we had last week where I'm getting confused between all the different men because the Murtaugh was the one talking in her ear during the gathering, right? And yes. Angus was the one that she was getting drunk, and I literally thought that was the same person. And maybe last night watching it I didn't, but thinking about it again now, I didn't remember that was a different person. And so bearded midget versus smarter guy who looks similar to bearded midget is what I'm calling him.
And then there's just the bigger non-midget bearded guy.
Yeah, the bigger like Ophi non-midget. Yeah.
It might get worse as we go on. I mean, they're fixing to go out with a bunch of Highlanders, and Ned McGowan's going to be in next week's episode, and you'll be like, oh, the one with glasses. And then there's going to be, Monroe or whatever. He'll be in it, and who knows what he's going to look like, and it's going to get worse.
I'm wondering how many people are going to get Ned McGowan confused with Geillis Duncan's husband, because he's like another older guy in a wig or whatever, and I bet you people are going to get confused.
I don't know. I mean, he's got glasses.
Hopefully that will work, but we'll see.
It might work. So let me tell you, we're going to talk real quick about, we're going to go to the end of the episode and talk a little bit about the shinty game and the boar hunt, because they felt kind of separate from the rest of the episode, and I get why they were tagged on, because we needed to see the end of the gathering, the hunt, something she's been preparing for. We needed to see Dugall and Jamie kind of go at it after the like tenseness of Jamie's oath-taking. But did it feel weird to you guys? And I know I'm not the only one who felt like the boars looked like the ROUSs from The Princess Bride, like they're in the fire swamp. They're like pulling out these boars. I'm like, oh, it's the Princess Bride, it's the ROUSs.
I definitely got that feeling when I was watching it, when, you know, you're going through and you can tell that there's an animal nearby, but you just don't know where it is and what it is. And she's like, it's a pig. How bad could it be? But I think it was more her relationship with Dugall and, like, where, because it seemed like things changed as it went throughout the episode with him, and his opinion of her changed. So you know he's still definitely skeptical of her, but I think that was a lot of what was going on there with the scene where the guy was, you know, mortally injured, and then the scene before that at the gathering. I think that was just all of the layers of her and Dugall going through that.
Yeah, and that just, I mean, again, he's like rapey early on, and then he gets to this, and you're just like, number one, he looks amazing. I mean, Graham McTavish did an amazing job, and he's so sad and like grieving, but also respecting her, and there's this mutual understanding between them. That was a very complex scene that they did a very good job. And I remember when the pig oh gosh, I must have been when the pig hunt started, you're kind of like, because I didn't think anything because I knew it was happening, but my husband said, we're really going to watch them hunt pigs? And I knew, you know, and I was like, yeah, but I knew this was an important time where this guy was going to die, but I forgot that was why it was important, to see this change between Dugall and Claire, and to see this, you know, just this different respect kind of happen, despite, it's very complicated, because again, at the same time, he kind of tried to sort of rape her a couple of minutes ago.
Which he probably doesn't even remember.
Right.
Really.
I feel like he did. I feel like they did a good job of him being like a little bit ashamed.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of the impression I got. Maybe I just wanted that.
Yeah, no, I feel like he remembers it too, but it was just like, well, she wasn't bringing it up, and then she, in a sense, did him a favor on that battlefield. Like, she could, not that it was a battlefield, but like, she could have just sort of eased his pain or just put the tourniquet on or whatever, but she went the extra distance to make him calm as he died. So I felt like, you know, she could have done less than she did and still have been considered like competent, but because she went that extra mile for this guy who she didn't even know at all and clearly like Dugall cared about, I feel like that's like, he was like, all right, so we've got some respect going on. I felt like that's what it was about.
I think it's respect, and also he still doesn't trust her. I mean, even taking her along for the rent, he's got an ulterior motive that we're going to find out about, you know, at the end of the next episode. So, I mean, it's respect, and it's also like even more suspicion, because how many women have seen a bunch of men die that way? She even says many of them in a very, you know, very succinct way, to make him wonder, okay, what is her real, you know, what is her real story or whatever. So I think it's respect, and even like a greater amount of suspicion than he had for her before, because he knows more about her now. So I loved it. I love Graham McTavish's performance. I mean, it's bananas good. It's really, really, really good.
Why has it gotten to be this long in the conversation and we haven't talked about Jamie yet? Oh, is it because he doesn't come in till at least 35 minutes into the episode? Is that why?
That's exactly why. And why not? Why? Why did he have to wait so long to get some Jamie? I mean, granted, we got great Jamie once he came in, but it was way too long.
It was way too long, but I don't know that I disagree with it that they waited that long. I think it was kind of intentional. Maybe not. Maybe this was just like a really happy, because when that happened, he's looked great. I love Jamie. I know what's happening. I know what's coming. But those scenes that we got with him were just like, oh, okay, this puts a whole new perspective on what's coming. Like, we're not that far off from you know what, you guys. And this is going to be, I mean, we all said it. When he says, Jesu prie, and we get that scene, you know the one, that look, we're all just like, ugh. like audibly. I didn't mean to. I saw it already. This was my second time watching the episode, and I still made an audible noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I tweeted that I moaned. I wasn't kidding. Like,
I wasn't either. I moaned.
I literally went,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. For me, similar reaction, but I also had it when he looks at Claire and she said, so I'm just assassinat to you. And he's like, I didn't mean it like that. Like the look of like real honesty in his face, like he was really, really hurt that he thought he offended her. And when she's going, I didn't mean it like that. And then he calls her by her real name and called her Claire instead of Mistress Beecham. That one did it to me too. Like that was it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he made it smart. I mean, I think if she had interaction with Jamie prior to her planning, people, I think, would have seemed odd that she was trying to run, but I think him hiding and kind of being off screen until that point where she runs into him was fantastic. I also liked that this episode gave an idea of how clever Jamie is, because he was forced into a situation at the gathering with the oath-taking, and I mean, either way, they made it seem like either way he was going to be screwed and could possibly die, and he was able to find a way that satisfied those who wanted him to take the oath, but still not put himself in danger from Dugall and all that. So I think it was really, I think that's kind of the missing part, is just how clever he is, and we got to see a little bit of that, which was fantastic.
Yeah, but Becca, didn't you say you were watching with David, and didn't he say that he didn't get what was what was going on there?
Yeah, if he was here, I think that would be one of the things he would say. He was like, wait. Why might he die? What's going on? Why can't he just be like, hey, dude, I love you, or like all the other people are? And so I was trying to explain it, and again, I haven't reread the book intentionally before watching the show because I don't like to compare things. So I was like, well, I really tried to explain. I did a really terrible job. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm going to totally butcher it. But no, he was a little confused by that. So I'd be interested to hear if other non-Outlander book readers did completely understand, because I'm not sure it was as clear.
I mean, Murtaugh explains it, but I don't think the gravity of the situation is really evident.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, Murtaugh was trying to give us the cliff notes, but I mean, even the cliff notes were going by like so quickly, like you don't get it. Plus, it's a whole other time period. Like that's
something about like Scottish Island war, warlord history that we never learned in school. We're Americans. Like maybe they teach that in London. I don't know.
Yeah, what I loved about that scene is makes me kind of a nerdy book fan, but I loved the fact that Jamie is really kind of protective of his name. Like we haven't heard what his clan name is yet, and even when he's telling Claire, "Do you know my clan's motto?" and she's like, "No, I don't even know your name," and he just says the motto just so sexily, but also just very protective of it. Like he's not shouting it in front of those other guys. And then when he gives his oath taking, he's like, my oath is like pledged to the name that I bear. And I love that he's like purposefully like protective of his clan and who he is and his name and everything. It made me really happy. I love him in that scene. I don't love his hair in that scene.
Oh my gosh, his hair is horrific. Terrible.
It's not as bad as the Geillis Duncan Pepe Le Pew moment, though.
That was bad.
That is definitely the worst hair moment so far.
Worst.
Did you see Geillis's really, really cool brooch at the gathering? She had on like an eye.
No.
Her brooch was like the shape of an eye, and it had pearls around it, and it's like the picture of an eye. It looked like the third eye from
Blind. Third eye blind.
Not third eye blind.
Can we talk about Leary? And of course I'm talking about Laoghaire, because I feel bad for her. I can understand why this young girl, we know what's going to happen. I'm not going to spoil it for people who aren't watching, but something happens and everybody starts to hate her. I know you're like thinking about, why are fans so mean to Leary? Well, she's just right now at this point, she's this innocent girl who likes this guy that she's obviously never going to get. I don't care that she's just a little dumb. Who cares? She's a 16-year-old or whatever she is. I do feel bad for her. And I think Claire's like, oh, that's cute. Here's some horse dung, which Jamie apparently smells like. She's not going to notice, and you'll be fine. But then we know.
Not me. I don't smell like
I'm like pointing. Jamie smells like horse smell. I feel bad for the girl because we know what's happening. In a couple episodes, she's going to be real pissed that she doesn't have Jamie, and I understand why.
Right. I mean, and Claire, in her defense, really felt like, okay, I'm never going to see this guy again. Whatever. Here's your horse stung. Good luck. Been nice seeing you. I'm out of the castle. So I don't think Claire was thinking about the fact that she was known as the healer, but now she's done something else that isn't exactly outside of medical treatment. I don't think she was thinking, beyond, oh, I'm just not going to be there in another 30 minutes. Yeah. So.
I think she was just thinking, this girl, all she needs is encouragement. All she needs is to have like some
false confidence.
Yes, confidence. She needs confidence.
Yeah. I don't even think Claire was thinking that far of it. I think Claire was like, this girl needs to get out of my face. So I got to give her something in a bottle so she'll get out of my way because I got to go. I got to jet.
Take your horse poop and get off my doorstep. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I still don't like her. I don't. And I just don't know if it's because of the books or what, but I don't like her. I didn't like the make-out scene in this episode. I just don't like her. I'm sorry.
I think it's the books, though. I think if we were just casual readers, we'd be like, what's wrong with that girl? Whatever. She's just kind of like an annoying girl that's not as cute as Claire and obviously isn't going to get the guy.
Also, as older readers, we hate when guys go for like the young teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bitch.
Because that happens so often in like real life too. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, we're more experienced.
I would be interested to see if other people dislike Leary at this point. People that haven't read the books, like if there's probably no hate towards Leary at this point. I think people are intrigued by Geillis, and I think people are just kind of neutral on Leary. Maybe feel a little bad for her and. I can't imagine anybody feeling any kind of like distinct hate at this point for anybody other than maybe Randall, who we haven't seen in forever. So. And
it's funny because like even as you say, like what they think about different people, if anything, I think they'd be more suspicious of Geillis than anything else, really.
But I almost want her like I know we don't want her to tell Geillis, but I almost want as watching I'm like just tell her she's
already suspectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually making it look like if this weren't going, with the way that the book is going, it's almost kind of stupid that Claire hasn't told Geillis. I mean, you almost want to go, God, just spit it out. She's obviously asking you what's up. She's being very blunt with you. Just be honest with her. And it almost makes it look like Claire's kind of not smart, not getting somebody to help her out, especially somebody who does have means. I loved Geillis' scene this week. But I think that, Claire, it does feel like Claire needs to just tell her.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely enough on Claire's side that she's smart enough to figure out what she's doing, and she tries to warn her off, saying it's not going to work. It's like she's saying the Highlands is a very dangerous place for a woman, so she's not going to rat her out, but she's going to try to talk her out of it, but she's going to let her find her own path.
Yeah, I think she just wants her to hook up with somebody. She needs her. She's like basically telling her like, get a lover who can protect you because you're in some trouble, which. Yeah. I'm down for that. I need some more sex immediately.
Seriously.
Get naked soon, please. Somebody.
Yeah, because especially because if you were a non-Outlander fan or whatever, a book reader, and you came into the show, you're getting these like false promises from that first episode with these like sexy scenes, and then we've had nothing ever since. And I mean, that's how the book goes too.
Right. I do remember that when because I didn't read the books, I listened to them on audiobook, and I remember thinking, it's a very big audiobook, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like a third of the way through this book, and no one's done it yet. What is going on? I mean, she does make up for lost time when you get to that chapter, but I was like, but even in that chapter, it's a long time in coming. I'm like, holy cow.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not like Game of Thrones where there's just like gratuitous tits and ass just all over the place. And
that's true.
They at least have a little bit more purpose. But.
Yeah, it's not the sex position. You're right.
Missed that though.
Can we talk about the field hockey scene at the end? I don't give a shit what you actually call it, Beth. I know you know the real name of the sport, but that just to me, I get it. I get that they needed to have this angst man Dugall versus Jamie thing, but like the guy just died. Like it was just to me just suddenly like this random thing that I mean I was laughing the entire time.
I wasn't laughing at the scene. I just felt it did feel like shockingly out of place and a little it's hard to, I had to put the closed captioning on to see what they were saying to each other, and it felt a little out of place. I liked that I finally figured out where that scene of Jamie in the beginning credits came from, because I always wondered what he was holding when he's running in the credits. I'm like, what is he holding? Like some kind of crooked shovel? Is it a dildo? What is it? Now I know. It's a shinty stick.
Shinty.
Or field hockey, as I like to call it. Two things happened. I finally came to a realization of why field hockey players wear like plaid skirts.
Hamilton, Scotland.
I was like, oh, and I was like, Becky would so like that, and Becky is the name that I call Becca whenever she wears anything sporty. She transforms herself. She morphs into Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Becky loves field hockey.
I love field hockey. It's my name. It's what I'm going to be for Halloween. I'm going to be a field hockey player, shinty player, if you will.
Yeah, look at your plaid skirt. It'll be awesome.
Well, it's funny. I think I said this to Beth before we went on air, and I said I was, the second I saw that, I mean, it just reminded me in one of the books they talk about, after you have like a battle, there's this sort of testosterone level, and it was like the guys getting all their testosterone level out. Like the only thing they didn't do was like take a woman on the field. Like that was the only thing, missing, was some woman getting like carried off there into the bushes. But it was definitely like all that pent up, male hormones and just getting it out on the field.
Yeah.
I think they
just taking each other.
Yeah. That's just books that we read. Charlotte Stein novel.
I mean, but talk about playing dirty. It's a wonder that any of them are ever going to have kids ever again. Oh my gosh. Seriously.
I get that they need to have that out, but I think where it was, and again, this is an added scene, right? This is not from the book.
I don't know if they play shinty or not in the book. I don't remember. I don't think so.
Not like that, they don't. I mean, maybe they reference that somebody's playing it, but not like that.
Yeah, I get it that it needed to happen, but because the guy had just died, like literally it was a second later, it just felt a little off to me. I don't know.
But did it show that it showed kind of the jealousy and the tension between Dugall and Jamie? I think
again,
it did serve that purpose, but at the same time,
it was the wrong
placement. Was
maybe if it had happened right after the oath taking kind of thing, I don't know.
Well, in the book, they come up from the hunt after Jordy dies, and it's just silent. And that's when Dugall says, "You've seen men die by violence before," and she's like, "Yes, many of them." And then then it's just like the very next scene, and she goes out and she sees Jamie and Dugall sitting on a bale of hay, and that's when Dugall says they're talking about leaving, and Dougal's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go. We're taking you with us," and they have that conversation. So I mean, it's kind of anticlimactic, not very actiony, and I guess they felt like they needed to, since somebody died from a boar, but we didn't actually see the boar go into the dude, give Claire something to watch where Jamie looks hot. And that was what we got.
That was for the male viewers that like field hockey.
The male viewers. And the Emmy of the day for the Outlander Dork of the Day award goes to Beth Thorne. Congratulations. Oh, there's a dog. Laura has a dog.
I just looked at it.
Speech.
So we haven't talked about the Emmy, actually, of this episode, and that would be Diana Gabaldon getting her SAG card for her line in this week's episode. So stars throughout this huge, major social media thing, they were like, okay, we have a hashtag, I Spy Diana. Did anybody watch this episode and not spy Diana? It's not as if the camera panned by her really quickly. I mean, there she was, and there's her line. So why the fanfare over trying to pick her out of the crowd when it was really super obvious?
Yeah, it should have been Ron, because I noticed him, but I was like, there's Ron. I'm like, wait, Ron, because I don't follow the social. I mean, I try to kind of stay. I hate the internet. And so I don't ever go on it. So I didn't know this I Spy Diana thing was happening. I don't know if they talked about Ron being in the episode. That was a surprise to me. So that, to me, was like, I Spy Ron. But I never would have, obviously it was Diana. They released a photo of her earlier in this week. We knew exactly how she was going to look.
Yeah, I mean, plus on her blog, too, she described it as having filmed up in the gallery at the gathering. So I'm like, okay, they are not on the second floor yet. I knew when they got to the second floor, that's when I would start looking for Diana. So I did not think it was particularly hard to find her. And like you, too, I saw it on a screener, and I'm like, whoa, wait, was that Ron? And then, I went back and looked, and yeah.
Yeah, and I think it'd be one thing if it was just like a crowd shot and you were spying Diana, but she had a line. If you didn't spy Diana, you would just need to go home right now.
Yes, yeah. She had a line with a very thick Scottish accent. Very thick. Sorry, I had to do it.
Oh gosh.
One of us among us has a good Diana impression.
I do. I think it was, I'm going to say this, I think it was ballsy of her to do a line. I do. I think she could have just done a cameo where they just panned by her, just an appearance like Ron did, and that would have been cool, and people would be like, Diana, that's so cool. So it's ballsy of her to say, I'll say something, fine, I don't care. But she would have said it like this: absolutely, I will absolutely say whatever it is you want me to say. I will have a line here, and I'll talk to the Scottish dialect coach and make sure that it's just right, and it'll be just right for everyone. That's my Diana impression. It's half Diana, half Jimmy Stewart. Thank you.
Oh, it is. That needs to be a GIF. We have to GIF that right there. I don't know what we're gonna do, but somebody needs to GIF that.
I will do it. I'll learn. I'll go to a class to learn how to GIF making, so I can do that.
Oh gosh. Speaking of GIFs, let's talk about our GIFable moments, you guys. Who wants to go first?
Not me.
I'll take one. Claire bopping Dugall over the head with the chair or the bench or whatever that was. Just, yeah. And then him going out cold. That we could just replay that a whole bunch. That was fun.
That's good.
Jamie?
I would have to say a little Claire and Jamie rolling in the hay.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I liked when I love the scene, and it's because GIF doesn't have audio, but when they're talking about this is a pot, like questioning, I love that. Like I keep repeating how they both said it, pot, like they it was just the cutest thing. I love that whole scene.
I love that scene because she says he's talking about like how he can't keep his legs, and she says "tis," and it's just the cutest line. She "tis." It's so adorable. That's not my GIF moment though. My GIF moment is obviously when Jamie says "je sais pas." Like there is he hasn't been that hot the whole time. That was the hottest moment ever. His hair looked good. His face looked good. He looked good. It was all good.
All good. Allie?
I was going to go with the port scene, but I think I'm going to have to go with, even though it could not be a GIF, it could just be a picture, I would have to go with the ribbon tied to the tree because that just was so important. Like, she's still trying to get away. She's still, like, there's still hope that she can get away. So that moment had a lot of important stuff in it.
Great.
I have another one when Mrs. Fitz, when Jamie does his oath taking, which I have to say was kind of weird that everybody like cheered at the end, like when he got done. They're like, woo! I mean, because they were all like about to kill him, and they're like, oh, he got it. I mean, it just seems like they should have just kind of ignored that he did that and not been like so like celebratory. But Mrs. Fitz goes, woo!
Yes. No, I won't have to clean up the blood.
Yeah. I was like, that'd be a great gift. Her's going.
Well, there's a time I tweeted last night. Mrs. Potts, of course I call her Mrs. Potts. Mrs. Fitz, but Mrs. Potts is unhappy, and I can't remember exactly, but she's like super frowny. And then there's no less than 30 seconds later, it's probably right there, where she's just like, woohoo! Like she is no longer unhappy. It's just a very like swing of emotions with Mrs. Fitz / Potts.
I'm just excited about the future scenes when Jamie and Claire finally get together because I feel like every moment where he like surreptitiously looks at her or whatever, it's so important to me. Like when he's leaving the gathering hall, he just kind of, with Myrta, he just kind of looks her up and down when she's not looking. And it's just so exciting. And when they're really together, it's going to be even better.
Well, I think that's great too because, I mean, the books are from Claire's point of view and she's pretty clueless about the fact that Jamie is interested in her. I mean, just as a generality. And I think it's cool that you can see how interested he's getting, and you don't get that reading the books at all. So I'm really enjoying that.
All right, so we've wrapped up this episode. We have one thing that we want to announce for you guys, and we have another giveaway. We did a giveaway with our very first episode. We did a huge swag pack from Comic-Con, and this week we have a signed copy of Written in My Own Heart's Blood, signed by Iona McTavish.
Signed by that.
And a pack of Jamie to go with it so that you can keep your place in the book when you want to. So if you guys watch this video, tweet it out, and we'll have a post written in the description below. You click on the post, and we'll take you to a Rafflecopter or whatever, a giveaway thing where we can get you guys tweeting about Talking Outlander, and that'll give you some entries into our massive Moby Pocket Jamie giveaway.
Yeah, we'll make sure it's clear with a link so that you guys can enter over the next week until our next episode. And we hope that our next one is live. This is Labor Day weekend, so it's been crazy. We're missing Nikki, who's normally been with us. Elise has been with us in the past. David, no one was available. We've got some other people who are going to come join us next time, hopefully. But yeah, it's been crazy, and we're all in America celebrating a day of labor-ishness, no labor tomorrow.
And if you want to hear a future episode where Beth just channels Diana the entire time, leave a comment.
Leave a comment with what you think she should say.
It can be like honest trailers. We'll just have Beth read things in Diana's voice. It'll be fantastic.
I'm not doing the impression again.
We need you to like cosplay Diana. We need like a long dark wig and like a poncho or something. Like we need you to cosplay Diana. It would be awesome.
You can offer out your services, Beth, if she doesn't want to ever do interviews like that are over the phone. You can just and I know that you're a dork enough that you know exactly what she's going to say and everything she would possibly answer. So
I'll do it. In fact, like if you've ever heard Diana on a podcast, it's not her, it's just me. Don't let anybody fool you.
Thank you for joining us this week, Ellie.
Thank you for having me.
Also, we didn't mention before, but Ellie is also a contributor on That's Normal.
Oh, yes.
So check out lots of her posts.
Yay. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us this week.
See you next week for the Rents.
Bye.